Welcome ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr.J and this is the 16th episode of my series How to Complete Hollow Knight. Last time we absorbed the essence of one of the dreamers, Monomon the teacher, and thus removed one of the seals. We also defeated several bosses, including our first warrior grave. On top of that we got our last basic spell, Howling Raids. Today we're going to get a taste of the life of a gladiator in the Colosseum of Fools. Thankfully we will be getting both items on our way to the Colosseum anyway, so we won't be wasting much time at all. In order to get the Wanderer's Journal, we'll have to use the elevator and drop from it on the floor above. And now for the vessel shard. We can use the left elevator again to go grab a geochest. Be careful as a heavy sentry will spawn behind you. Then just go back down and use the right elevator. We just have to continue climbing and go through the exit up top. There's nothing of interest on the way. We are locked until the sentries are dealt with. And we're off to challenge the first two trials in the Colosseum. We need to manually climb the elevator shaft, as taking the elevator will take us directly to the resting grounds. Here you can simply super dash and you go straight to the Colosseum. As an added bonus, you skip through all the bellflies. We talk with the little fool in order to pay him to unlock the trials. Once he does, we have to put our mark on the appropriate trial and then we can enter the arena. The trial of the warrior is fairly easy, so you shouldn't have much difficulty with it. Except for the last fight, which is the hardest fight in the game, but you're not really supposed to win it anyway. There are a lot of Colosseum only bugs you fight, but don't worry about grinding them for the Hunter's Journal entries. You should have all the necessary kills by the end of the third trial. I'll go through the enemies in all the waves, but I won't be talking much about the strategies unless there's something specific you have to keep in mind. Most of the waves are very straightforward. The current second wave features a total of 5 sharp boulders spawning on platforms. The third wave consists of 3 sturdy fools. At first one is spawned, and when defeated, another to appear. In the fourth wave is just 2 primal aspects. Fifth wave is another 2 primal aspects, but this time spikes spring from the floor. Sixth wave is another 3 sturdy fools. Initially 2 are spawned, and when you defeat one of them, another takes its place. Seventh wave consists of 2 primal aspects and 2 sharp boulders. Just 2 of them will appear at any one time. Eighth wave pits you against 4 vengeflies and a vengefly king. The usual boss strategy still applies in the fight. The ninth wave is a big one. 3 sturdy fools, 2 shielded fools, 2 primal aspects and a sharp boulder. Thankfully the spikes are gone and you're only up against a couple at a time. The 10th wave consists of only 3 sharp boulders, but the ceiling falls very close to the ground, so you won't be able to jump at all. The 11th wave is another big one. 5 volatile gruzzers followed by 2 gruzz mothers. The ceiling recedes a bit, so you have plenty of space to dodge their attacks. And here come the gruzz mothers. Again, the strategy is the same as the boss fight, so it shouldn't pose you much problems. Wave 12 is the final wave and it introduces the hardest boss in the game. And here he is, Zod the Mighty. What? I can't believe it! He must have let himself be defeated. That's the only thing that makes sense. Right, so we will immediately start the second trial. It is significantly harder than the first, but still very doable. Again, pay the little fool and put your mark. We'll be starting off with two new enemies. First, a single heavy fool followed by a couple of winged fools, and ending with a heavy fool and a winged fool. The heavy fool can be pretty annoying because of his jumping. Next wave features another new enemy, the armored squid. There's only two of them and the wave is more of an excuse to rise the three platforms. You need those platforms since the ground will be completely covered by spikes starting the third wave and remaining for the next several waves. The current wave consists of two armored squids again. In the fourth wave, only the central platform will remain, and the enemies are an armored squid and a winged fool. Wave 5 is the big one. Several new platforms appear, followed by two primal aspids, two armored squids and 5 volatile gruzzers. Thankfully, you'll be facing a maximum of 3 enemies at a time. You have to be mindful of the platforms and the spikes below, but otherwise the wave is not particularly difficult. Wave 6 is a tricky one. All the platforms retract and a new triple platform appear in the center. At first a heavy fool attacks you. When defeated, 3 bellflies are spawned. You have to be very careful with your double jump timings in order to dodge the explosions. Wave 7 consists of a single bellfly. Finally, for Wave 8, the spikes are retracted. You face 8 hoppers followed by a greater hopper. They appear one by one, so if you defeat them quickly enough, you won't have to worry about getting overwhelmed. For Wave 9 you only have to defeat a single Great Hopper. However, this time the walls will close in, leaving you only a little bit of room to maneuver. In Wave 10 the walls will retract, but the ceiling will come down. The only enemy is a single Grub Mimic. In Wave 11 the arena goes back to normal, with the addition of a single platform in the center. The enemies you have to face are 2 shielded fools, 2 winged fools, a heavy fool and 2 armored squids. In wave 12 the walls will close in again, and a heavy foe followed by a winged foe will spawn. After defeating the winged foe, prepare to start jumping on the walls, because once wave 13 starts, spikes will sprout from the ground. They will remain like this for the next 2 waves. In the current one you will have to defeat a winged foe and 3 armored squids. In wave 14 you face 3 winged foes and 2 armored squids. The walls will retract and 3 platforms will appear. This wave requires a lot of patience. It's not particularly difficult, but don't try to be too aggressive, since both types of enemies are very nimble. Wave 15 is a little bit different. First 4 platforms will appear and then battle obos will start spawning. After defeating 4 of them, spikes will once again cover the floor. You have to defeat a total of 9 battle obos to end the wave. This wave is a good opportunity to heal up, as you will get plenty of time to do that. In wave 16 the ceiling will again drop down and you have to fight 4 battle obos. Wave 17 is the final wave. You face 2 obos. There's nothing terribly difficult in this fight. You have plenty of room and time to be able to defeat them however you want to. The Howling Raid spell is incredibly useful in this fight, since the somewhat low ceiling will mostly keep them in range of your spell. Just don't forget that once you kill one of them, the other will enrage. And that's that. We won't be attempting the third trial right now, since it's much more difficult, and we'll wait until we've got all the upgrades. After collecting all the rewards, we'll go back to the vertical shaft and go down and take the right exit. Our first target is the bench in the middle right of the map. Here is a good spot to grind geo from the hoppers. It's not the best one due to the belfries, but if you want a bit of a change, this here works pretty well. Now we can drop down to the first or second exit to the right. If you drop even further down to the bottom of the shaft and take the right exit, you'll be in what is probably considered the best spot to grind hoppers. We need to go all the way down and to the right in this shaft here as well. And here we continue going right. Now let's just grab the bench and go on a date with Hornet. Hey, wait up, Hornet! Well, luckily we're anything but weak, right?
Egale.
Almost sounds like a marriage proposal. The second Hornet fight is almost identical to the first one. She uses all of her usual moves and the strategy is very much the same. The only difference is the addition of two new attacks. The first one is a counter attack you just saw. It works the following way. She enters a defensive stance and when you attack her, she blocks the damage and counter attacks with a white slash. And this is her second new attack. She basically creates 3 spike mines that do contact damage. You can destroy them by hitting them and there can be a maximum of 6 mines at a time. I recommend you remove them as soon as possible. The fight is frantic enough without having to worry about them. Otherwise, you just have to be patient and not get overly aggressive. And we're done. This is our last fight with Hornet. With this, we gained her respect, if not entirely her trust. So now we'll go get the King's Brand as Hornet instructed us to. Once you collect the brand from the previous incarnation of the Pale King, his shell starts to collapse, so you have to quickly make your way out of here. Thanks for the save, Hornet. I owe you one. Now let's quickly grab another Wanderer's Journal and go fight an optional boss. Hey guys, now that we have King's Brand, we can access another new and very important area. We won't be going straight to it though, as there's an optional boss waiting for us. Stay tuned for the next episode to find out where she's hiding. As always, if you've enjoyed it, please press the like button, and if you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear from you. This will really help me to provide better content for you guys. Hope to see you again next time, and until then, have a good one.